I'm going to give you some exclusive tips today that will help you woo women. For a long time, psychologists have maintained that women enjoy hearing words. It's no accident that praise makes them melt. But what precisely do they want to hear from men? And what expressions would make their eyes shine with joy and their hearts race? And how can you say them right without blowing everything up? I'll explain that to you in the first segment of this video. However, keep in mind that words alone won't bring results because women are also perceptive to men's behavior. However, what behaviors will you do to aid a woman fall in love with you? In the second segment of this video, I will inform you. You will learn how to skillfully blend words and actions to improve your capacity to make a lady fall in love with you if you watch this video through to the finish. We've just launched into the most captivating segment of our film. But first, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can see all of the new intriguing films that I post. So let's get started right now. Section 1. Expressions that lure women to love. First, let's talk about the things that women desire to hear from guys. Her name is the first term you should be familiar with and utilize. Indeed, it could appear little, but trust me, it's crucial. A lady may tell you know her and are interested in her as a person when you address her by name. You also arouse favorable feelings in them and strengthen your bond with them. There is one requirement, though. You must pronounce her name politely and correctly. Don't overuse it, don't pervert it, and don't use diminutives or nicknames without her consent. Only address her by name when it feels right and acceptable. I'm grateful. The second phrase you ought to be familiar with is thank you. When men recognize the efforts and gestures made by women, it makes them happy. Saying thank you expresses your appreciation and thanks for all that she has done for you, or just for existing in your life. You also exhibit your culture and etiquette. However, once more, avoid being repetitive and avoid saying thank you for everything. When she merits it, say thank you with heart and sincerity. The third term that you ought to be familiar with is compliment. When guys compliment women, they love it. A woman's attitude and self-esteem are elevated when you compliment her on her beauty, intelligence, ability, interestingness, or any other favorable attribute. You also express your appreciation and attention to her. What matters, though, is that you should compliment someone correctly. Avoid using overused, cliched words and phrases that she has heard 1,000 times. Remarking solely on her attractiveness might come across as fake and shallow, so avoid doing so. Giving compliments with the hope of receiving anything in return is not appropriate as it might come across as manipulative. When you actually feel and observe what you're complimenting, provide precise, sincere comments. Pay her praises on her appearance as well as her personality, skills, accomplishments, and viewpoints. Compliment someone just because you want to express your sentiments without anticipating a response in return. The fourth word you ought to be familiar with is sorry. Men who own up to their faults and extend an apology are highly valued by women. You demonstrate to her your maturity and responsibility when you apologize for everything you said or did wrong. You also convey to her your concern and regard. However, there are subtleties as well. You ought to provide a proper apology. Don't apologize for anything and don't turn it into a routine. Never apologize without feeling regret or wanting to do better. Don't apologize while holding grudges or placing blame. When you actually have broken a rule or a standard of behavior, apologize profusely and with humility. If you sincerely recognize your error and wish to offer apologies, say it with sorrow or remorse. When you're ready to accept genuine responsibility for your error and make sure it doesn't happen again, apologize with an offer or deed. The second segment of the video is now being shown. To ensure that you don't miss out on any fresh and intriguing subjects, please subscribe to my channel before that. Section 2. Behaviors that lead to women falling in love. Let's go on to the second section, which is about acts that elicit romantic feelings in women. Grin. Smiling is the first thing you should know and do. When guys smile at women, it makes them feel wonderful. A lady may tell you are sympathetic and kind when you grin at her. Additionally, you exhibit your optimism and self-assurance. However, it is crucial that your grin be suitable and sincere. Avoid smiling unnecessarily, or often since it might come across as uncomfortable or invasive. Avoid forced or artificial smiles as they might come across as dishonest or false. When you are truly happy or interested, smile warmly and naturally. When you wish to encourage or congratulate a lady, smile politely and promptly. Make eye contact. Making eye contact is the second thing you should know how to accomplish. When guys look them in the eyes, women like it. Making eye contact communicates your interest and attentiveness to a woman. Additionally, you exhibit your candor and openness. Here too, there are regulations. It's appropriate to look a woman in the eye. Avoid giving her a lengthy or intense gaze, since it might come out as hostile or invasive. Avoid giving her fleeting glances or infrequent looks, since they might come out as aloof or reticent. When you're actually listening to her or conversing with her, keep a reasonable and rhythmic eye contact. When you want to communicate your ideas or feelings to her, look at her in a fitting and emotive way. Touch. Touching is the third thing you should be aware of and practice. When males touch women, it makes them feel wonderful. You convey your attraction and desire to a lady when you touch her. You also show how much you love and care. But you also need to use caution in this situation. It's appropriate to touch women properly. Avoid touching her too soon or too often, since it might come out as impolite or bold. Avoid touching her too hard or too gently, since it might come out as harsh or weak. When you sense a connection or trust between you, softly and gradually touch her. If you want to reassure or thrill a lady, gently and softly touch her. Gift. Giving a gift is the fourth action you should know and practice. Men enjoy giving gifts to women. Giving a woman a gift demonstrates your generosity and compassion. You also show off your sense of style and taste. What is crucial is that you present gifts appropriately. Gifts that are excessively expensive or too inexpensive may appear unsuitable or disrespectful to her. Don't offer her presents that are too general or too particular, since this may come across as careless or invasive. When you actually know her hobbies or requirements, give her presents in moderation and personally. When you want to surprise or satisfy a woman, give her things in an unusual and creative method. Provide in. Make a compromise. This is the sixth thing you should know and do. When guys make accommodations for women, they adore it. A lady will appreciate your flexibility if you make concessions to her. You exhibit responsibility and maturity as well. But here too, there are subtleties. You should appropriately compromise. Never give in on a problem and never turn it into a habit. Don't make a compromise without taking your own concerns or interests into mind. Refrain from sacrificing yourself or placing blame. When you truly recognize an opportunity or a need for agreement, make thoughtful and reasonable compromises. If you genuinely want to strengthen or maintain the connection, make a willing and happy compromise. In conclusion, in summary, women are already aware of the phrases and behaviors that men should say and display. The right way to use them to draw in and keep any lady is already something you know. The most crucial and determining factor for your success is still something else, though. This is something you have to do for yourself as well as the woman. That is your daily, hourly, and minutely obligation. All your life, that's what you have to do. That object, what is it? To be oneself is the goal. That's right, you should be authentic. Since it's the only way to be happy and make the lady you love happy, this is the finest advice I can give you. Since it's the only way to meet a woman who completely compliments you, since it's the only way to steer clear of future disappointments and disputes. Because, in a woman's perspective, there is no other way to be special and irreplaceable. However, what does it mean to be authentic? It entails not lying or making up things. It implies not emulating or replicating. It denotes a refusal to adjust. It entails being upfront and truthful. It entails being dependable and faithful. It entails being really yourself. The absence of self-awareness renders all other expressions and deeds meaningless. You will simply fool yourself for a lady if you don't fulfill this need. You won't be able to win her heart. You will not be able to maintain a lady without this need. You will simply let her or yourself down. You will only suffer or torment yourself if this requirement is not met. You will not be able to be happy together. Being oneself does not equate to being careless or self-centered. It does not imply disregarding or denying a woman's thoughts or emotions. It does not imply giving up on personal development or self-improvement. To be a woman's friend and partner, you have to be yourself. It entails taking into account and honoring a woman's viewpoint or emotions. It entails working toward advancement and personal growth with a woman. The easiest thing you can do in life is to just be yourself. It's easy because you don't need any particular knowledge or abilities, but it might be difficult since it requires a strong will and character. But because it's the one thing you can do to ensure happiness and love, it's worth it.